If the parent function is 1 over x, describe the transformation. So we're going to shift it to the left 2 and down 3. Correct answer is C. The next one says, after being suspended from school from painting graffiti all over the outside of the school building, the boys are required to clean up their mess. If Pedro works alone, it would take him 20 hours to repaint the building. Working alone, Jonathan could accomplish the same task in 15 hours. Which of the following equations will find out how long it would take them to do the job if they were to repaint it together. So Pedro is one task in 20 hours. Jonathan is one same task in 15 hours. Working together, that same task. Correct answer is B. Number 3, solve the following, which statement is true. Okay, so I'm looking at this right now, and I can see they have the same common denominator. So my common denominator is x minus 4. Remember, when you have a common denominator, you're going to add the top. 1 plus 1 is 2. I'm going to set it equal to 0. Remember, 0 is the same as 0 over 1. A couple different ways we could do this. And at this point, I can cross multiply. 2 times 1 is 2. And 0 times the quantity x minus 4. Now, 0 times anything is 0. 2 doesn't equal 0. That makes no sense, so there is no solution. Determine the domain. So I could go ahead and graph this. I also know that when I graph this, I'm going to have a vertical asymptote at 1, and I'm going to have a 1, 2, 3, 4 horizontal asymptote at negative 4. Now I can just get a quick glimpse of what this looks like by going to y equals and type it in negative 4 plus the quantity 3 divided by extra parentheses, x subtract 1. And now what is the domain? So describe the x's. Comes from the far left, continues to move to the right until it approaches 1. So negative infinity to 1, and then hops over and the asymptote and goes from 1 to positive infinity. Correct answer is A. At an insurance company, it takes Brian 2 hours to complete the final submission of 500 claims. It takes James 3 hours to complete the final submission of 450. If they decide to work together, how long would it take to complete the final submission of 1,000 claims? So normally we say things like this. Brian does 2 things in 500, and Gene can complete the same type of 3 tasks now in 450. Working together, how long does it take them to do 1,000? We find a common denominator. If you don't know about this about fractions, we're able to flip all of these, as long as you do the same for all. And is this necessary? No, but in my mind, it makes just a little bit faster. So when I look for a common denominator here, I'm going to go after 6x. This means a 3x, a 2x, and a 6. Now when I multiply this, I end up with, on top, 1,500x, these wipe out, plus 900x equals 6,000. I'm going to combine here and then divide. So 1,500, which would be 2,400x equals 6,000. Dividing by 2,400 to both sides gives us an answer of 2.5. Solve for x. So I know this is the same as x plus 1 and x minus 1. Another way to write the same expression. So a common denominator would be x squared plus 1, x squared minus 1, also known as x squared minus 1. This means an x plus 1, both the top and bottom. This already has x plus 1 and the x minus 1. And this needs an x plus 1, x minus 1. Remember, it's an equation I put at the bottom. It needs an x plus 1, x minus 1, also known as x squared minus 1. Alright, so I'm going to distribute 2x squared plus 2x plus x minus 5 equals x squared minus 1. I'm going to move everything to the left-hand side, subtracting over the x squared, adding the 1, nothing's left on the right. Combining like terms, I get a 1x squared plus 3x minus 4. In fact, what multiplies to give us a negative 4 and combines to give us a positive 3? X plus 4 and x minus 1. Solve it. Setting each one equal to 0, I get x equals negative 4 and x equals positive 1. Don't forget to check the extraneous solutions. We cannot have answers of negative 1 or positive 1. Extraneous solution, the only answer then that exists would be negative 4. Working by himself, Gary can dust and vacuum the house in 3 hours. It takes his brother Jerry 4 hours to complete the same task. If the brothers work together, how many hours will it take them to dust and vacuum the house? Okay, so we have Gary and we have Jerry, and then we have working together. So Gary can do one task in 3 hours, Jerry can do the same task in 4 hours, and how long we're together. We do want to solve it all the way. Good common denominator is going to be 12x. So I want to take this times 4x times 3x and times 12. 12x, 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 cancel. 4x plus 3x equals 12. 7x equals 12. Divide by 7. X equals 12 over 7. Correct answer. Use the graph of the function, identify the horizontal asymptote, vertical asymptote, and intercepts. Alright, so I went ahead and I graphed it. And I can see that there is a vertical asymptote at x equals -2. I'm going to make sure I just wrote that correctly. Okay. There's a horizontal asymptote at x equals 1. How did I get that? Vertical, x equals -2. Horizontal, y equals 1. If I set the top equal to 0 and solve, I get a 0 or a real root at x equals 3. And if I go second trace value, I can see that the y-intercept is -1. I'm going to graph the next one, -4 plus 3 divided by x subtract 1. I'm graphing this to check the range. So it comes up from infinity, goes all the way up to -4, approaches it, doesn't touch it, hops over, and -4 to infinity. So negative infinity up to -4 and -4 to positive infinity. The correct answer is D. Look at the graph to state the domain, range, and behavior, and the asymptote. So I can see there's an asymptote, a horizontal asymptote, and a vertical asymptote. I've got a vertical asymptote at x equals 0, a horizontal asymptote at y equals 0, and behavior. As x approaches negative infinity, it's getting closer and closer to a number. What is the number? 0. As x approaches positive infinity, it's getting closer and closer to the value of 0. Now, what is the domain? It comes from negative infinity, and it continues to move to the right until it approaches an x value of 0, and starts again at 0, and it continues to move to the right. For the range starts after and above 0. So 0 is the lowest value. Again, it's not touching it, and it's everything above that. Solve for x. Okay, so what's a good common denominator? I have a 2x, a 1, and x plus 1. It means I want them all to be 2x, and I know 2x times 1 does not change it, and x plus 1. That means this value is missing at x plus 1. So I have 3 times x plus 1 equals, this is missing both the 2x and the x plus 1. Both the 2x and an x plus 1. And the 2x in back is missing a 2x. Alright, so here we go. I'm just going to distribute 3x plus 3 equals, oh, this is a little bit difficult. We're going to come back to this. 3x plus 3 equals, here we go, negative 4x squared minus 4x plus 4x squared. These two are going to cancel. I'm going to decide to move the 3x over. So you had a negative 4x. Now when you move 3x over, you're going to subtract. Divide by negative 7. I have x equals negative 3/7. So let's check. The extreme solution would be 0 and negative 1. It's neither. The correct answer is C. Which expression is equivalent to this? Okay, I know this breaks into x plus 2, xxx, 2, 2, 2. On the bottom, I can factor out an x, and I'd be left with x squared minus x minus 6. Oh, this still factors. What multiplies to equal negative 6 combines to give you negative 1, negative 3, and positive 2. Now when you divide, you turn it into multiplication. This goes up top. I can factor out a 10x squared. I'll be left with x minus 3. On the bottom, I have a 20x. What can I cancel here? And when I say cancel, I really mean to simplify. X plus 2 divided by x plus 2 is a 1. I have two x's on the bottom that are by themselves, and I have two x's on top by themselves. Simplify. I have an x minus 3 on the bottom and x minus 3 on top. 10 over 20. 10 goes into itself once, 10 goes into 20 twice. The only thing I have left on the bottom is a 2. On top is x squared minus 2x plus 4. Is that answer available? That answer is option B. In this one way to solve is to cross multiply. So I have x minus 6 times x minus 2 equals x minus 3 times x plus 8. I'm going to FOIL both out. X squared minus 2x minus 6x plus 12. X squared plus 8x minus 3x minus 24. I have to move everything to the same side after I combine like terms. X squared minus 8x plus 12 equals x squared plus 5x minus 24. When I move a positive x squared over, it becomes a negative x squared, and we can see it disappear. When I move a positive 5x over, it becomes a negative 5x, and now negative 8x and negative 5x is a negative 13x. And then I move the 12 to combine with the 24, and I move a positive 12 over, it becomes a negative. Negative 24 and negative 12 is a negative 36. Negative by negative is a positive. 36 over 13. Keep in mind it cannot be a 3 and it cannot be a 2. Correct answer is C. Which statement is true about the solution? So, this is x plus 3 and x minus 3. So, good common denominator is x plus 3, x minus 3, and then I can wipe them out. I need nothing for the 18. This is missing an x minus 3. This is missing an x plus 3. So, x minus 3, x minus 3, x plus 3, x plus 3, wipe out the bottom because it isn't equal. So I'm going to distribute the 1, distribute the 3, and combine like terms. 1x and 3x is 4x, negative 3 and 9 is a positive 6. Move the 6 over to the opposite side. And I have 12 equals 4x, divided by 4, x equals 3. But be careful. X cannot equal 3 or negative 3, so this is actually an extraneous solution. 3 is a slope. It's not a solution because it's extraneous. 3 is an extraneous solution. Correct answer is C. On top, the exponent on the x is a 1 and the bottom is a 2. Remember, whenever the degree on the bottom is greater than the degree on the top, we're always going to have a horizontal asymptote that lies over the x-axis. Or some of you may feel just more comfortable graphing it. So I have x divided by, x divided by x squared minus 1. And you'll be able to see right here we have this horizontal asymptote at y equals 0. You're like, well, why then does it cross it? Remember, vertical asymptotes will never be intersected by your graph, by the line of your graph. Horizontal asymptotes will occasionally occur, and if it does occur, it'll be in the middle of the graph. But the outsides, the limits on the outsides, it will never occur. Alright, so with this, what is the domain? So it comes from negative infinity and it continues to move to the right until it approaches negative 1. So negative infinity to negative 1, but it doesn't touch it. And then it goes from negative 1 to positive 1, and then it goes from positive 1 to infinity. Correct answer is D. There's a couple of different ways to do this problem. Basically, we want to know what value of x can we plug in so the left side equals the right side. One way to do it would be to cross multiply. So 1 times this quantity, so we can multiply these. 1 times this quantity would be x squared plus x minus 30, and then 11 times this quantity. Most of you will prefer this method. Distributing. I'm going to move everything over to the left-hand side. So when the 11x comes over, it becomes a negative. And 55 comes over, becomes a positive. Nothing is now left on the right. X squared minus 10x. What do we have? Plus 25. What two things multiply to give you 25 and combine to give you negative 10? Negative 5 and negative 5. So what would make it a 0? 5 and 5. Come back though, it cannot be 5 because 5 would be an extraneous solution. So in this case, no solution. Number 17, put a 1 on the bottom, 1 on the bottom. Good common denominator would be x times x times x times x times x. Wipe out the bottom because it's an equation. 1x, 1x, 1x. X times x is x squared. Negative 9 times x is negative 9x. You have a negative 18. When it moves over, it becomes a positive 18. Nothing's left on the right. What multiplies to equal positive 18 combines to give you a negative 9. It would be negative 6 and negative 3. So one answer is 6, one answer is 3. But go back. Remember, it cannot be a 0, so we're okay. So 6 and 3 are both answers. 6 and 3. Jeremy and Ahmed are painting a wall, working alone. Jeremy can paint the entire wall in 2 hours. Working together, they can paint the wall in 80 minutes. How long will it take if Ahmed works by himself? Notice that we're working with 2 different units. I'm going to switch 2 hours to 100. And so we have 60 and 60, 120 minutes. So I have Jeremy plus Ahmed and working together. Jeremy can do the wall in 1 hour and 20 minutes. Ahmed, we're trying to figure that out. How long does it take him to complete the task by himself? Together we know they can do it in 80 minutes. Alright, so what's a good common denominator? If it doesn't pop into your head right away, don't worry about it. I'm going to take this times 80 and x. I'm going to take this times 120 and 80. And times 120 and x. Now they each have a 120, an x, and an 80. Wipe out the bottom. On top I have 80 times x plus 80 times 120 times 1. 80 times 1 times 120, which is 9,600, equals 120x. I'm going to move the 80 over. Subtracting 80 would be left with 40. Divide by 40. It would take Ahmed 240 minutes. 240 minutes to complete the task. Now, if it asks you in terms of hours, divided by 60 tells us it would take him 4 hours. Solving for x. Okay, so common denominators. I have 7 over x plus 1 and x minus 1 equals f of x. Subtract 3 over what multiplies to give you 2 and combines to give you negative 3, x minus 2 and x minus 1. Okay, so we're not finding a common denominator here. We're really just trying to isolate f of x. What's a good common denominator here? Well, let's first just move this over. So I have 7 over x plus 1, x minus 1. This was negative. When it moves over, it's positive. And now I've already isolated f of x. We want to simplify this in order to come up with one of these answers. So I can see a good common denominator would be x plus 1, x minus 1, and x minus 2. This is missing an x minus 2. This is missing an x plus 1. Okay, I'm going to distribute the 7 and distribute the 3. Do not wipe out the bottom. Although we see an equation, we don't have an equal bottom here to wipe out. We are just isolating f of x. And when I combine like terms, I have a 10x minus 11 over this quantity. 10x minus 11 over this denominator. 10x minus 11 over this quantity. Correct answer is A. Number 20 asks us to determine the range. So I'm plugging it into the graphing calculator. And I can see that it's continuous here from negative infinity all the way up to positive infinity. Gives me an answer of B. Which statement is true about the solution? Okay, recognize that x cannot be 0. and x cannot be negative 3. All right, let's solve. So I'm putting parentheses around and parentheses, parentheses. This needs a simple x all by himself. Not an x plus 3, that's 1. This just needs an x. So 3 times x. The 2 needs an x plus 3. And the 1 needs a simple x by itself, a single x. Needs a single x, needs a single x, needs an x plus 3. Okay, and then we'll wipe out the bottom. So we have 3x equals 2x plus 6 plus 1x. Combining like terms, I get 3x equals 3x plus 6. I'm going to subtract this over. 0x equals 6. When I divide by 0, we cannot divide a number by 0. It's not possible. So, there is no real solutions that exist. Not 0 is the answer. 0 is on the bottom. Means no real solutions that exist. Explain how the graph is shifted from the original parent functions. Okay, so we are going to shift to, the order doesn't matter how you write these down, shift horizontally to the left 4, shift down 3, reflect across the x-axis, and vertically stretch by a factor of 2.